Hello, this is the Evolved Educator podcast. Welcome. I'm Michelle.
I'm Chanmi.
I'm Jennifer.
So, I don't know if you can recall any funny questions that students have asked you. I know that they probably happen every day. But the other day I was walking past the classroom and I heard a student ask, "Where is the Great Wall of China?" And I was like, And I thought to myself, I love that child is thinking and asking questions. That is wonderful. But it also made me wonder if teachers sometimes get lost in working towards students gaining the knowledge that you were required to teach through the content, or are they also remembering to teach acquiring skills? It's about skills and content. So that brings us to our segment here. Will this be on the test? So you've probably heard that question. Will this be on the test? And you're like, well, probably, but it's more about like, how did you get there? Process.
Right.
And a product, but definitely process. So today we're talking about adding value to your lessons. And of course, we know that every learning experience is wonderful, but we're talking about planning opportunities for students to learn valuable skills, the things that they cannot find online, the things that as teachers, we want the students to be able to do forever. What do we want them to be able to do?
Mm-hmm. Right. There's just so much information out there. We're in this information-rich society where Google's at their first, at the tip of their fingers. And so they need to know what to do with all that information that's out there.
Yes.
Right. When you said that, it made me think immediately of the 4 C's. The critical thinking, communication, collaboration, creativity. These are the things we want students to be able to do. They're going to need these skills forever.
Exactly. And none of those things are things that you can find in an internet search. It's something that you can do. So when I was researching for this podcast, I came across a quote that I thought was so interesting. It said, "Only people who have the knowledge and skills to negotiate constant change and reinvent themselves for new will succeed." And that's really about the process and the skills that students gain through what we teach them in the classroom. The content is important, but most things you can find online if you need to know the answer. And quickly, even walking around in your pocket.
The thing that stuck out with that statement is the, being able to negotiate constant change. I mean, we can speak to that just in our careers alone with teaching, how much it's changed in all the years that we've been teaching. I mean, that's how life is. You have to be able to negotiate that change.
And to be ready for it. So that, that really makes sense because the jobs that we want to prepare our students for, we're looking for that. They need that type of specialized thinking, and they need to be able to have excellent communication. They need to be able to express and articulate their ideas, and be able to process those ideas and think critically, be creative with their thinking too, and think outside the box.
Yes, problem solving.
Absolutely. Yes. So on top of teaching the information, the knowledge, the content piece, it's really important, as we constantly say, to be able to create these opportunities for students in the planning, create these opportunities for them to practice in a safe space where they can learn, they can make mistakes, they can reflect. This is the stuff that prepares them to be able to succeed in school. And obviously in their careers in the future, they have to be able to adjust. And so we need to give them as many opportunities to do that as possible.
That collaborative piece is really important too, because they can't be learning in silos. Like students can't be sitting there by themselves. We're a global community. That's what we're moving towards anyway. And so whether they're local community or global community, they need to be able to collaborate with others in their future jobs and be able to whatever they learn, they have to know how to craft and communicate their learning as well. So teachers, we know that teachers need to go beyond knowledge and content, but then these are soft skills that we need to teach our students. So that's pretty abstract. How do we do that?
There's a few things that teachers can do. One is actively model the behavior that you want your students to practice. What do you want them to be able to do? You have to show them how to do that. For example, if we're talking about thinking critically, you verbally walk them through your own thinking process so that they know what's going on inside your mind, and then they can emulate that. Another thing that teachers can do is intentionally plan opportunities for students to explicitly practice just one skill. Just focus on one thing at a time. So when a teacher is planning, the decisions that they make are specific to what they want the students to achieve. What is the outcome? It's also important to share what that outcome is with the students so that when they struggle, they can identify the problem and then communicate the steps that they took to get to their solution, which they will get there with time.
Mm-hmm.
And then this helps the students make connections between the struggles they went through and the strategies. And so the next time they go through that struggle, they can apply those strategies and get through whatever it is faster.
Mm-hmm.
And they just become better at it. So if you're talking about critical thinking or problem solving, a new idea comes along, they'll recall something that they've done in the past and apply those strategies. That's how those soft skills are gained. So it's through communicating your own processes that you're going through in your mind, and being clear with the students what you expect from them. Mm-hmm. So for content and those soft skills, the 4 C's.
So that's the lesson. In order to best prepare our students for success, they need to practice.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that about anything. They need to practice those 4 C's. They need to practice communicating every day. They need to practice critical thinking, collaborating, and creativity. They need to practice those 4 things all the time. And as many opportunities as we can give them.
And they need to know that they're practicing them.
Yes.
So that brings us to our last segment, strategies that get the W. And as you know, we like to send you off with a little goodie, some strategy that you can use in your classroom. And so let me ask you, who does not love to mush and squish something? I personally find it very calming, like a stress ball kind of thing, or I play with that sometimes. Yes, it's very calming. Mm-hmm. So the strategy we're talking about today is clay modeling. And I love modeling with clay because it can apply to any subject, and kids of all ages love it, even high school kids. I mean, I love it, right?
So you're talking about taking a little piece of clay and just making figures with it and mushing it around and...
Exactly. So molding it into the concept that the students are trying to learn for the moment. And it can apply to anything. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even if you think it's something abstract, still the kids will come up with something.
Right. They can make a visual representation of whatever that idea is. Yeah.
Exactly. And I love it. Not only is it fun, but it gives students ownership of their learning. It improves connections in the brain.
It taps into that creativity, because we always wonder, how can we build creativity in the classroom? And we're definitely going to do that with this.
Yes. And like you said, Jennifer, it improves visualization and interpretive skills. Yeah. So it kind of applies to the other things too. So if it's something, an idea that's a little bit more abstract, then you really need to talk with your peers and figure out a way at how are you going to show what you need to show with clay. There doesn't necessarily even have to be a quote unquote right answer there. It's just getting the students to think.
Right. And I mean, what you were saying about it requires them not think deeply, because they have to develop that plan of how am I going to take especially if it's something abstract, and make it concrete, and this maybe even discrete steps on like how to explain something. And so it just, that being able to say that there's more than one answer to a question.
Yes.
Is it that flexible thinking with clay modeling. It's flexible. So
yeah,
I love it.
It's literally flexible and
literally and figuratively flexible. Yes.
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 I need to go buy some more clay.
Even as we were talking about it, I thought of ways to enhance this. And if you wanted to add a writing piece or a speaking piece where somebody could, people present to the class what they came up with, or there's so many things you can do with this, but that is our strategy of the day, clay modeling.
Love it.
Yeah.
And that's all we have for today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.